Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. And in today's video, you know what we are doing already. Today we're going to be counting down the top 10 best plants that you should plant in your spring garden. Keep in mind, most people begin planting their spring garden late next month, maybe early March. So let's get right into it. Alright, so at the number 10 spot, we got oregano with a final score of 7.85 out of 10. Oregano is a very versatile plant, I must say, and it's really good, especially popular for making pizza. It's a great and handy thing, especially if you are out of oregano. Then you can just go to your plant and get some. It's one of the most basic spices that you can get, and in my honest opinion, oregano is really good on pizza. You could debate that in the comments below, but like, do whatever you want, I guess. So at the number 9 spot, you want to know what we also got? At the number 9, we got, of course, the craziest one yet. This is a drop from number 2 in last year's version. I'm doing a V2 of this. It's going to be collards. I wanted to plant them so badly last year, but unfortunately I was never able to get to the store on time. But that has nothing to do with the score of 8.07 out of 10, which is still a decent score. Keep in mind, these are the top 10 best ones, not the top 10 worst ones. So keep that one in mind. But if there's one tip I'd have to give you about this one, is that I've heard in these past years they're getting a bit harder to grow, but that's just something certain people have noted. But for the most part, they're a fairly easy plant to grow. At that number 8 spot, you want to know what we got? We got, of course, number 8 spot is basil. Why wouldn't it be basil? Basil is crazy because you want to know one thing? Well, for starters, basil is very versatile. And of course, it's another pizza topping, you know? One of the greatest of the greatest, with the final score of 8.19 out of 10. The only issue is that it's a pain to get rid of those stupid flowers that come on it after a certain period of time. You want to know what happens? You have to rip those flowers off by hand, or else your tomato, not your tomato, those are higher up on this list, the basil will go to seed. The reason they aren't so low is because of them sort of making a deal with the tomato plants, and they give them some benefits. And at the number 7 spot, we got blueberries. Now, yeah, blueberries, I know it's crazy, but blueberries are one of, if not the greatest treats that can come out of a fruit garden that's ever been produced. Maybe competing with strawberries, of course, but blueberries are right up there. Now, the reason they're so low on this list at number 7 is because of how annoying they can really be. Like, I'm sorry, but like, man, you got to up your game there, blueberries. Like, seriously, I'm tired of you just being little sticks. If you can't already see from the pool area, those sticks right there in the garden, like right there, maybe. Those aren't sticks that are just sticking out of the ground like you think they are. They're actually my blueberry bushes. They're not growing. So that's why they're finishing off with a final score of 8.25 out of 10. Now, the number 6 spot, we got raspberries. Yeah, we love raspberries. I love them. Maybe not you, but most people will come to love raspberries eventually. And if I'm being completely honest with you, raspberries are one of the greatest things to come out of vegetable gardening. Usually they do grow on like trellises and stuff like that because they're a bit more of a bush rather than like a plant, but they still do score a solid 8.35 out of 10 on this list. They're really good. That's all I gotta say. Now we got eggplants at number 5, finishing with an 8.46 out of 10. Now, the reason they're fairly low on this list, like right in the middle, is because there's not really a whole lot of uses with them. Like, yeah, you can make like eggplant, what is it? Like eggplant parm, similar to chicken parm with eggplants. Alright, I've never had that before, so that's why I'm going off of something that's probably not even completely true at all, but like, you get my point. They're better at like vegetable salads and stuff like that. They're also very easy to grow, but have a very low success rate. Now at number 4, you want to know what we got? We got corn, one of the most versatile plants on this planet, and has a really good success rate, which is why they're finishing off with a ridiculously high score of 8.95. Although sometimes they sprout up too consistently, with the average germination rate being somewhere between 80 to 85% if I were to take a guess. Maybe it's more like 75 to 90, but like, you get what I'm trying to say. Most of them do pop up, which could be really annoying, especially if you expected something a lot less And oh, when they do pop up, they'll multiply. If you accidentally spill a corn seed, you bet that's gonna sprout. That happened in the 2020 growing season. Number 4 is going to be cucumbers. Now, cucumbers are very simple plants at the end of the day, but they are also very annoying to tend to. And if they get slightly more rain than the average, like keep in mind, we got 8 inches in 2 hours a couple years ago, and when that happened, it just killed them with mold very quickly. They are literally a mold farm, so you got to get used to that when we are talking about eggplants. I mean, not eggplants, cucumbers, but also eggplants too. They sort of fall under the same boat, but eggplants will get it significantly less. They'll have to deal with more potato beetles than anything else. Surely number 3 can be something bad, right? Well, it's pepper. Some of you love them, some of you hate them, and that's fine, because at the end of the day, this is my list. I'm just compiling 10 things based on popular opinions and also throwing mine into there too, based on personal experience, and for some of them, I just found them on a list. But this one right here is probably going to be one of the greatest I think I've ever grown. Peppers are just great. I give them their final score. I forgot to say, the final score for the last 2, I scored these each based on averages. The final score for, the last one, cucumbers, was 9.25 out of 10. This one's 9.28 out of 10. Now, number 2 on this list may shock you. Well, we gotta do it. Gourds. Yes, gourds of all things. I know you're very shocked. And you're like, bro, what are you talking about, bro? What are gourds supposed to do? Well, they're little tiny pumpkins, and they will really shock you. Although this year we only harvested like 44, 45 of them. In 2022, we got 95, so almost 100. And this year, I'm making it my goal to get 120 gourds. I'm gonna do some crazy things this spring garden, so be sure to like and subscribe, because you won't want to miss any of those crazy things that are coming up in May, June, July, and August, and maybe even September, because there will be some crazy harvests, weekly updates, and everything else in between. Before we move on, an honorable mention will be normal spices. Unfortunately, these didn't quite cut the list, with a score slightly below the number 10 spot, with a score of only 7.82 out of 10. And of course, another one that unfortunately never made it on this list today were normal sized pumpkins at 7.75 out of 10. Both of them are slightly harder to grow, and they're a bit more pain and require more maintenance. And at the number 1 spot, same as last year, same as the year before, tomatoes. Dare I say more, they're so simple to grow, they're very versatile. They can be used in many things. There are many varieties. Still, if one variety doesn't cut it for you, there's more to choose from. There's Roma tomatoes, which will make you some tomato sauce to put on your pizza. I had to bring that up like 3 times this video. And then there's beefsteaks and 4th of Julys, which will give you the greatest cut for your sandwich. It'll be really great for summer afternoon. It's crazy I'm talking about summer afternoons with 3 inches of snow on the ground. My hand's freezing cold right now. I'm gonna go in right now, warm up by the fire, and then go edit this video. And hopefully you guys really enjoy this one. I put a little bit of effort into these videos, so if you want to see some gardening, chickens, and just life around the farm videos, I would recommend clicking the subscribe button. I'm getting used to these face cam videos. I'm doing them more often now, so I'm out of here, guys. Subscribe.